Hi folks, Dr. Garry here at VK Greenhouses in Charlottetown, Prince Edward Island. Join me now for an exclusive behind-the-scenes tour of this greenhouse facility right here in Charlottetown with Peter Meijer.
My name's Peter. I've been here since I was 12 years old, Peter Meijer. My uncle, Charlie Van Campen, used to own the business, and it was his father that opened it before him, and been here since 1959. There's some cool little treasures that we can see actually throughout the greenhouse.
Okay, you'll take me around?
Yeah, so anyway, I was just telling you here that this is the original header house. So the house I live in is next door there.
So you live in that big white one?
Yeah, that house used to be right in front of the business here, and you'd actually drive around the back of the house, and it's had 3 expansions on it, but a family of 7 or 8 kids grew up in that house.
Okay, wow.
And anyway, long story short, that was in front of the building here, and this was the original way to come in the greenhouse. And my uncle said one of the best things they ever did for business was they actually allowed people to go through the greenhouse and pick out their own plants. They used to go and pick out plants for everybody, and they said when they first started letting people go grab plants in the back, they picked out some of the ugliest stuff. They said couldn't believe what they were selling. They'd go take the time finding the nicest stuff they could. Anyway, they opened it up, they built a whole lot of expansions. This glass building was actually a building that they took down from another greenhouse and built here. I want to say it was in the 80s.
Okay.
And there's been expansions ever since.
Yeah, it's a fairly big building.
Yeah.
How many greenhouses are actually here? If you were to count each individual one.
Connected greenhouses. Well, we'll go for a quick tour. I don't know exactly. I can't tell you the number off the top of my head. I've got an acre of hydroponic tomatoes growing in the back.
Wow.
We can go take a quick peek at that.
Yeah.
And we've got about an acre covered of bedding plants. The property itself is just shy of 4 acres.
4 acres.
Yeah.
Okay, I own 5.
Yeah.
But it's all woodland and
There's,
not much done with it yet.
120,000 square feet of retail.
Wow.
Yeah, so we grow everything ourselves. So we do about 500,000 seeds a year. We can go
Half a-
take a little peek at some of the stuff we start. Take a little peek at our retail spaces. We just added flower shops this past year. So in 2023, we acquired a brand called Hearts and Flowers. This used to be all space where I grew stuff, but we were always building the building and trying to make it a little nicer and better. Down here, originally we're trying to clean up some mess here right now, but this is where we had all of our seeds that we started. I'll go take a quick peek in the back, but we're flipping it all for retail now. It's May, Mother's Day's coming up.
Yeah, that's right.
Time to be thinking about that kind of stuff. So we'll take a little peek at some of the beginnings, some of the stuff that we start. What's really cool down here, this grapevine was planted in the 70s, and so it's over 50 years old now.
Oh, wow.
And it's been here. You can kind of see the
Look at that.
Really cool story. Came back in a suitcase with my uncle's father from Holland. He brought it back.
You brought it back from
And there was
Holland.
an expansion in the 70s. They went this way and they planted this right there in the 70s.
So do grapes grow onto
Grapes are
it?
starting to form on it now. It's a seeded grape.
Okay, yeah, I can see a bunch up there.
You can see here too.
I can see a bunch right there. I'm zooming in on a bunch.
There now.
Look at that.
So I had a sales rep come by from one of the companies I buy pots from. And
Good morning.
he said, "Oh, this is the famous grapevine." I said, "What are you talking like famous grape?" Yeah, I guess it's been here a while. He said, "No, there's a greenhouse in BC that your uncle gave cuttings of that plant to, and they propagate it and they sell the exact same cuttings from that plant to people in BC. So I don't sell anything from it. It's just a neat piece, but there's this greenhouse in BC that I just found out about last year that's selling pieces of that plant.
Wow,
and they're growing in home gardens.
That's an amazing story, isn't it?
It's kind of cool. There's some history here. That's for
Yes,
sure.
yeah.
So lots of stuff to see. We grow a lot of annuals. As I was saying, we do about 500,000 seeds a year. And if we take a quick peek, this is behind the scenes here a little bit.
Oh, this is behind the scenes, staff only.
Yeah.
So I get the grand tour.
We're going to take a quick peek at what's happening back here too.
Awesome.
So
Oh,
a
wow,
lot
wow.
of seed trays. So we start everything like trays like this.
I'll close the door to keep the heat in.
Yes, appreciate it. Trays like that, there's 400 seeds. Don't worry about it too much. 400 seeds in a tray. These are impatiens.
Okay, so 400 seeds right there.
Yeah, and we got a machine that helps seed it.
Seed
So
it,
there's
yeah.
a girl that does them. It's like her job for the first 3 months. Starting in January, we do all our perennials.
Okay, you start in January.
Yeah, we're open year round. So I start my tomato crop, which we'll take a peek at in a minute, in January as well. And then we start, after that, seeded. It comes into this room, actually. So 12,000 tomato plants get started in this room.
12,000 tomato plants.
And from there, they'll move to the acre, which is just past that plastic wall. You can kind of see a hint of the tomato plants through that plastic wall, but we'll take a little look at them. Tomatoes is a big part of our business. We grow for about a year per tomato plant itself, so it grows for about a year. We're harvesting for about 8 months.
So you sell to the supermarkets?
Yeah, every grocery store on PEI, more or less. There's a company we deal with that's wholesales to a lot of restaurants on the island. So they deal with about 280 restaurants. So there's potential for our tomatoes to be in, over 200 restaurants on the island.
Yeah.
When we're in season, and we ship some to Nova Scotia, New Brunswick as well.
But, we went to Lobster on the Wharf last night.
Yeah.
And there was tomato on our plate. They probably came from you.
We're not just yet, but they will be, because we're just starting to harvest our larger tomatoes. So they will have our stuff in a short while. And a couple of lobster restaurants. One of our longest standing clients is New Glasgow Lobster Suppers.
Okay.
And it's an old church lobster supper style business. And they've been open since the early 60s, and we've been selling tomatoes to them since 61.
Wow, since 1961.
Yeah, so
before I was born.
Yeah, long history there of island businesses, so it's kind of cool. But anyway, as I was saying, we do a lot of our own seeds. There's a ton of stuff left to plant just to get the year started. And then we propagate stuff. We bring in stuff that are cuttings, unrooted cuttings, stuff that comes in from other countries so that we can start growing it. Like some of this stuff is non-seed forming, so like this Torrenia wishbone flower would come in as a little cutting, and then we'd root it and grow it out and transplant it into something else. Okay. So there's a lot of that, and like succulents and stuff. Same way those came out of Mexico.
Nice.
And we don't grow them from seed, but we bring them in and root them and go from there.
Get them going.
Yeah. So we can take a little look. We'll go out again and take a little look at the tomato house quick.
I'd love to see the tomato house. I have a small greenhouse that I made myself at a wooden plastic, right?
Yeah, this is just a little fun trial for us too. We're going to grow some lettuce here because we want to have some local food.
Okay,
right?
A lot of people are getting into the hydroponic.
Yeah, so this is a nutrient film system basically.
Okay, yeah, so
it'll run water through that over and over again. Just recycle into this bucket. Just a little bit of PVC and a quick mock-up of a way to grow lettuce vertically on the wall, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, we're going to sneak back through here. There's a little bit of mess in the back here, but we'll sneak through and take a look at our tomato plants. We also do a ton of tomatoes for retail, a bunch of veggie transplants, not all floral. We do a little bit of everything.
Morning.
Just working on making it nicer here, but we're going to sneak through into the back.
Okay. Here we go.
Watch your step there.
Okay. Oh, look at this.
So, back here, kind of like another facet to the operation. We've talked about two different things. We do the bedding plants and all that stuff, and then tomatoes is kind of like that thing that keeps us going year round. So these guys aren't really, we're just starting to see the first little bit of color on them right now. We're going to be probably picking later this week, but our cherry tomatoes, which I'll show you, are down here.
So are these the beef eaters?
Yeah, beefsteak variety.
Yeah, the beefsteak variety. Yeah. See, I can tell. They're huge, right?
This is a variety called Inspired. It's going to go about 26 feet tall over the course of the year. So you see, we started this from seed in January in a little oasis cube, and it goes into this rock wool. And from there, we transplant it onto this cocoa fiber grow bag. Okay. And then there's 3 plants in a single bag. Okay. And that guy grows up straight until it hits that wire at the top. And then you see all these plants have a little string on the top. So the boys do some high work. It's one of the first jobs I was doing too. We go and we prune all the little side shoots off the tomatoes.
Yeah.
So a linear crop.
Yeah.
We want all our new fruit forming at the top and our harvested fruit down at the bottom.
Okay.
So as this grows, it's going to grow 26 feet tall, but I've only got 12 feet, 10 feet to that wire. So as it hits that hook, we let some string down and we push it to the side.
Okay.
And what happens, you get this lean on the plant. By the end of the year, the plant that's planted there, the top of it's going to reach and be all the way down here.
Oh, okay.
It's going to be laying along the ground.
Okay.
The crop just moves to the left or to the right. You'll notice that the road, that side, is leaning forward.
Okay, yeah.
The plants are actually going to come around, and they just chase each other in big circles.
So how many individual plants are here again?
10,512.
10,512 tomato plants.
Yeah.
Do the math on that. There's one starting to turn right nice and orange there now.
Yeah, just starting to see the first color.
Just seeing some color.
Tomatoes.
Yeah, right here as well.
We have live bees in here too for pollination. We
Okay.
got a few cucumber plants
I see.
that we're growing just for fun.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Few
just
cukes.
stick out the ends of the rows, we have space. And then you'll see the cherry tomatoes are opening up. On
Yeah,
the
you're
side.
getting color. And here's the cherry tomatoes.
And then we'll be doing crop work, so we take all the leaves off the bottoms of the plants so we can expose those clusters so we can see them better for picking. And the top of the plant only needs about 4 feet of foliage for proper photosynthesis. So we're going to go and clear up the tops. You can see these guys are quite large. These guys grow a little bit faster. These guys will grow about 40 feet tall over the course of the season.
40 feet tall.
Although
Right?
the hothouse behind us grows 26 feet, these grow about 40 feet.
40. And so you just let them go.
Just let them go, yeah. And like I said, this row's leaning away from us. This row leans towards us. You can see the tomatoes going around the corner. So
Okay.
the tomato plant that's planted right there is going to be chasing that guy around the corner. And the whole crop just kind of goes in a big circle.
Okay.
We can take a little look. These guys are doing high work. That's one of the machines they use to do the work. You can see the tops of these plants are getting a little hairy. Like that's a week of growth. We do this every week. So it grew. It looked like that last week, and that's a week of growth later.
Okay, and I see a bee is going around there doing the pollinating for you.
Hardest workers in the place.
They are very important.
Yeah, very important for growing food.
Do you bring in bees?
Yeah, so I don't want to hurt native bee populations.
Yeah.
There's rules about that too. But,
Yeah.
You bring in sterile hives.
Okay.
From their laboratory grown bees. That way they're not going to have any. There's a queen in it, but they're not going to make new.
Not going to make new bees.
Unfortunately.
So whatever you bring
they're
in.
just workers, and you buy a box of 20 bees in it, and it works for a while. And you buy another box of 20 bees.
Okay.
In it. Daniel's up there. He's doing some of the high work. You can kind of see him down there. A couple guys that work in here almost all the time, just doing crop work on the top of plants. And stuff gets missed. You get these big, huge suckers that got to get pulled off. We don't want them to grow bushy like that.
Yeah, I know. I had picked those off mine too.
Yeah.
I had problems with aphids
Yeah.
one year, and I had to bring in some ladybugs.
Yeah.
I went to a place and I bought 1,000 ladybugs.
You can do that. We bring in bios targeted for what we need, biological controls. Let's see if we can find one of these pouches here handy somewhere.
Yeah.
There's we get spider mite trouble in here sometimes.
Okay, spider mites, yeah.
Yeah, and spiders like crazy everywhere.
Yeah.
But there's one of these.
But nothing too poisonous or anything.
No,
Nothing dangerous.
Nothing dangerous. There's one of the packages right there. This is how we pick the tomatoes.
Okay, you sit on that, hey?
Sit on that there. But there's one example. So we distribute these throughout the greenhouse.
Okay, what's in that?
Amblysius is the insect that's inside that. You get a couple hundred bugs inside a little pouch like that.
Okay.
And they would go, and they're a targeted predator for spider mites.
Okay, go on.
So then you put them on the plants, and then they'll run up and down. And that way I don't have to spray chemicals in the crop.
That's good. You don't have to.
I don't want to spray.
No.
I also am the guy who has to spray. Anybody can put bugs out. I've got enough things going on. I don't want to have to spray the whole crop all the time.
That's right. You don't want to be spraying.
It's a win-win, really, right?
That's right.
But anyway, there's one of the hives there. You can see.
Okay, there's a beehive. Look, isn't that clever? Wow.
And so we just bring them in like that as boxes. I think we got six in here right now.
And so they go out around and do their thing, and they come back and stay in here.
Yep.
Okay.
Working during the day and
they
sleeping at night, more or less.
But they don't get a paycheck.
They don't, well, no, not. They get a little snack now.
Oh, they get a snack, but no paycheck.
Yeah, you can see them coming out there.
Yeah, I just saw one leave.
Yeah.
That's clever.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's the one company we deal with is Copert, and basically that's what they do is insects and stuff like that. Bees and the bugs and stuff that we bring in.
Over 10,000 tomato plants here.
Yeah.
I usually have like a dozen. I usually have about 12 plants.
So this is an acre back here of tomatoes. And that's small. Like if you go to Leamington, Ontario, they do 100-acre greenhouses of tomatoes.
Yeah.
And so we're
they make catsup and everything up there, right?
We're like craft tomato growers. Just like a small batch tomatoes, right?
Yeah.
But it's good for the island. It works for us.
That's right. And you employ a lot. How many employees do you have?
Peak season 45.
45 workers here. Okay, that's great, eh?
Yeah.
So you're providing income for local people? And that's a great thing?
Yeah, it's been a businesses that support
and you start
our families and the families of those that work here.
And you start in January.
Yeah.
And you...
Oh, we're open year-round.
So it's a year-round thing.
Yeah,
okay.
I grow poinsettias for Christmas. We got the flower shops.
Okay.
Christmas. In January, it just transitions into the next thing.
Okay, so it's just a continuous thing.
Yeah.
Excellent,
We don't
excellent.
stop.
So
There's
here's
no time off for us.
so here's some of your tomatoes ready to go
Yeah,
to the market.
That's ready to go out the door.
Oh wow, look at that. All ready to go. So you're true to your motto. You sell what you grow.
You got
Perfect,
that
perfect.
right. Yeah, and there's very little that we have here that we don't grow ourselves.
Okay, excellent, excellent. Perfect. Okay, I want to thank you so much for this. Okay, so folks, an exclusive behind the scenes look at greenhouses
Yeah, VK Greenhouses, Van Kampens.
on Prince Edward Island here in Charlottetown. Mr. Garry and Peter Meijer.
Yep.
Okay, so awesome tour. Really enjoyed it. See you very soon. So as I said, myself and Freebie are up quite early. It's like 7:30 in the morning, and we're on the go around Charlottetown, Prince Edward Island. And I just drove past this building called Greenhouses. We grow what we sell. They have fresh cucumbers, tomatoes, and hoscaps. I'm not sure what they are. Some kind of flower, I suppose. Lots of beautiful flowers right here on display. Lots seen around there. So hopefully the people who own this establishment, some of the workers, won't mind me coming in and doing a quick video so you can have a look. And if you ever get an opportunity to visit Prince Edward Island and get a chance to visit Greenhouses, this is the place for you to come. Lots and lots of potting soil, lots of hanging baskets and display baskets. Let's just take a quick look. Lots of pansies on the go. If you like pansies, they're quite colorful, aren't they? I'll try to slow down so you can take a quick look. This is what's out on display. Some trees here for sale as well, with growing instructions. Lots and lots of pansies. Here's some more trees for sale. Pansy bowls for $19.99 Canadian. Quite the large greenhouse establishment for sure. There's trees and shrubs and flowers and bushes and all kinds of herbs everywhere. And I'm just on the outside. I haven't gone inside yet. I'll go in very shortly. I'm looking for a couple of apple trees to bring back to Newfoundland. And Miss Betty, she wants a plum tree, so maybe I could get those here this morning. We'll see. Some beautiful trees over here, all ready to plant on your property, folks. And looks like they're all well taken care of, very well organized here. I'm impressed. I am indeed impressed with how well this place is organized. I just saw a couple of workers go in because it is, as I said, still quite early. So they're in now getting ready to start their work day here to get things ready. It's amazing how much is here. Look at all the shrubs and beautiful boxwoods. I think these are. It's called parkwood. They do look like a boxwood though. There you go. Here's the boxwoods. Green velvet boxwoods, $92.99. Okay, Miss Betty and I, we have a couple of those on our property in Gander that we sold now, of course. Some they're all wrapped up, ready to go, looks like, or just arrived. Oh, let's see if we can get inside.